the airport that only gets used by politicians.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
They built an airport here.
Yeah.
The first thing they built was the reception.
Reception.
For real. So the airport, which one is reception? And then they did the road before they came to build the tarmac. Now, people are not able to fly there.
How much is it to fly from Accra to here? What airline?
So, and that's one of the biggest problems of Africa. All the population request of you is not achievable.
Yeah.
So let's do it and let's argue this out.
Okay.
From Accra to Kumasi, how much would it be like?
By flight.
Yeah. It's like
150.
1,200 cities.
Okay. $150. So what?
Who is doing that? So the paramount chief that we showed you
Yeah.
is the owner of Awa. He's the
Okay.
owner of
The
an airline.
airline.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's that rich. So he tried to fly here. So they came out with the rate was like 250 cities.
Okay.
People said it was expensive, so they should reduce it to 100 cities. So I sat back and I watched.
Yeah.
And I was a business sense. The man is a businessman.
He was.
Forget the fact that he's a paramount chief. He's not a politician. How is he going to be able to bring a plane down here 100 cities per passenger? And you know the way the airlines work?
Yeah.
When you move a plane, so for those kind of small airlines, the fall is not too much.
Yeah.
Maybe a flight is like 5,000 cities. So if you are taking 100 cities, 50 people on board to fly. You understand?
Yeah.
And when they did the 200 cities, maybe 12 people fly.
Even 200.
Now, they are complaining that they should reduce the price. So I see them discuss. I try to tell them that it's not possible. No businessman will put a plane on a that is not busy. You understand? So each time the plane flies, it makes 2,000 cities. And it's probably costing 5,000 cities. So it's, when the politicians are coming to town, they use it to come. This is the furthest we can go. It's like a security zone.
Wow, this
Airport
is so
that should be-
interesting. Airport for politicians.
So instead of us to find a way to make the place busy and create activity, they are complaining that the politicians will reduce the price. The politicians cannot reduce price. If you see people reduce price, anytime there's a price reduction in a place like Africa, the government has subsidized it. And that's why Africa is so poor. Instead of the government empowering people to be capable of doing things, they subsidize their cost. So the people are even living in the dilemma. They don't appreciate how much things cost any longer. They're like, oh, it's too expensive. No, you are too broke. But how am I going to be able to tell this to people if I'm trying to sell real estate to you that it's poor, it's not the house that is too expensive? They will say you are insensitive.
Yeah, but okay, let me stand on the local side for a second and ask, how much is it when you come by road from maybe by public transport and
By
also by
public
driving?
transport, it will cost you 60 to 80 cities
Okay.
to get there.
But then 200 is okay.
You understand?
What about fueling?
He said, if you want to fuel, so maybe 300 cities, even for this car, maybe you are using a VK80 to be 2 times more.
Yeah.
800 cities.
Well, that was a really, really good discount.
So it was less, very, very low. Like, it was already subsidized.
Yeah.
And they were still complaining. Like, I just don't get, like, the logic was missing in their argument. They were just being emotional. So I thought, anytime you are trying, so I think it's a thing about high ticket sales. Flight is a high ticket.
Yeah.
Accommodation is a high ticket, especially high-end accommodation. People will not understand the pricing metrics.
That's true.
I went to an apartment I was trying to sell. This apartment was so expensive, even to me that I was trying to sell. When they showed me the kitchen, I was like, okay, it makes sense now.
I see.
The kitchen had Bosch. You know Bosch?
I know, gosh, yeah.
They had Bosch washing machines and Bosch
Freeze
appliance,
and
Bosch
this thing is
everything.
very expensive.
You understand? And Bosch is like 2 times the cost of a Samsung. And And the average real estate developer might have even put like a Hisense or something, which is half the cost of Samsung. So if those people are charging you 2 times more, they are even doing you a favor. Like they are being nice for you. They have shrunk their profit margin for you. And the reason why you start thinking hardware, because the hardware of Bosch is going to live longer than you.
Then, that's true.
If you have a Bosch appliance, it's going. Your children are going to inherit it. If you have a Samsung appliance, 25 years down, 25 is too long. 10 years.
Okay.
You
So
understand?
if you give Samsung 10 years, Hisense.
No, Hisense.
I know, right?
You are mentioning brands.
Oh, okay.
No.
Don't quote us. It's an example.
I had an experience. I'm really glad about the mentors that I met. People take average first. We were driving. We brought a pickup to go. When we were going back, there was a V8 in front of us. We decided to chase the V8. And when there's a V8 in front, they drive faster and then they clear the road for you. So we're going, and then my mentor said, "People, let's let this guy go. He has better brakes than us." So I'm like, he said, "How sure are you that his brakes are better than us?" They said, "People, that's a $120,000 car. He expected to have the same brake as a $30,000 car."
Can never.
You understand?
Yeah.
The car costs 4 times more. The brake is going to be 4 times better than ours. That's the logic behind value and cost of things. But in Africa, we are just talking price. Oh,
You're not talking about value for money.
So they lose out on the value for money. So in our attempt to kill the price, then we begin to lead towards cheaper stuff.
Okay.
You understand?
Where would you say this mentality came from?
It's an African mentality.
Okay.
It's a poverty mentality. I don't think it's an African, it's a poverty mentality.
Okay.
Just that Africa probably has more poverty. Because I think there are Indians that are poor and have this mentality as well, Chinese that are poor and have this mentality as well. So, for example, there was a Chinese, when we started buying bicycle, a brand new bicycle. It was made in China. It was called African Champion. It was 400 cedis. Then we decided to buy a home use bicycle. It was made in China. It had a nice name, Rally. Home use, someone had already used it. It cost 1,002 cedis. The home use one cost more than 2 times the brand new one. The brand new one was made in China. It was named African Champion. You know what that means? That one was made for Africans. Why was it made for Africans? Oh, Africans don't have strong purchasing power, they say. So they tell us they are helping us. They didn't give us the same thing for less price. They made something that we can afford. What's the difference? The components are made of metals that are not as strong. You hit a wall, everything warps. You use it for a year, the whole thing is destroyed. The Rally that I bought, I used it all through GSS. I went to secondary school. I found someone, I even gave it out to the person used for a few years before the thing went off. You understand? So instead of Africans to empower ourselves to be capable of affording and doing the things that we desire, we tell the people this, oh, you don't ask for us, we are poor, so do something for us. We want to pay, and no businessman is going to give you something worth more for less. So they begin to design things that match our price for us. You know what that does to us? I have a rich cousin. This is what I realized about him. He buys very quality watches, quality dresses. So he had bought them for so much time that for like 5 years he didn't have to buy watches and dresses. So I started doing that. Then my mom said, so if you are wearing a thing like that and it doesn't get support, don't you get tired of it? Do you understand? So instead of buying 100 cedi shirt that I can wear for 5 years, I buy a 50 cedi shirt that I have to buy a new one every year. So in 5 years, the cost of my wardrobe is 250. Me that I'm poor. The cost of the rich man's wardrobe is 100 cedis. You get it? Look at me with the Maya. The Maya wears white shirts all the time. He has some of them. Then I have a green shirt too, yellow shirt too, brown shirt too, black shirt too. So I have 20. You understand? So the cost of my wardrobe is 2 times more than with the Maya's wardrobe. You understand? So who is poor? I am living a more, let's say, lousy life. But I spend more on my livelihood than he spends. As he makes more money than me. So in the next 5 years,
Yeah.
I become poorer
As he
and
becomes
he becomes
richer.
richer.
Yeah.
And I'll even go ahead to say, oh, he's rich, but he's always wearing white shirt. That's the problem with African. So, like, you come to my town,
Yeah.
people have been driving like a car like mine. Someone drives a Corolla. The next year he buys another Camry. The next 2 years he buys he's changing his car every year. Then a very rich man,
Yeah.
one who I met, whose name I will not mention, he's been driving the same V8 for 9 years. Then we say he's an idiot. Why is he driving the same car for 9 years?
Yeah.
If it is me and I have that money, I will not buy it. He's not an idiot. His cost of transportation has been $100,000 for 9 years. Then the poor man buys Corolla $25,000. Then next year he thinks, oh, then he argued with that, oh, but he sold it for some money. $1,000. This is a nice development by one young entrepreneur individual.
It is nice.
Yeah. He
Nice.
sells it for $5,000.
Oh, okay.
So the salvage cost is $5,000. So he has lost $15,000. When he buys another car, $25,000. So he thinks he's upgrading his status. So the cost of upgrading his status is maybe $20,000 every year. And then maybe the salvage cost is $5,000. So every year he spends $20,000 more, right? So in 9 years he would have spent $180,000. The rich man has spent how much? $100,000. So in the poor man's attempt to scale up to meet up with the rich man, he has lost $80,000.
That's crazy. Someone said that if you take all the money
Yes.
from the rich people and you give it to the poor people, that after some years, this money will be back to the rich
After
people.
10 years,
Yeah.
90% of the rich will be rich again,
Yeah.
and
the
90% of the poor will be poor again.
poor. Yeah.
So which one of them will not become rich again? There's a lesson in that story.
Which of them will not
If you
become?
share all
Oh,
the
the
money in the world
10% now.
among us, 90% of the rich will be richer again in 10 years, and 90% of the poor will be poor again. But 10% of the poor will not be poor again,
Okay.
and then 10% of the rich will not be rich again.
I would say the 10% that were poor and will not be poor again.
Yeah.
These are girls. I'd say their mindset has already changed and they have the rich mindset.
Yeah. So they had the mindset, but they didn't have the opportunities.
Yeah.
They were handicapped in a way. Sometimes because they were born somewhere in the village, not too much opportunities. Sometimes they have had a crisis they couldn't survive. Sometimes misfortune. Sometimes even the dependency. Remember I told you something, the dependency on the poor man is so high
Yeah.
that it's starting from negative. The rich kid, so the 10% of the rich that may not become rich again are the ones that have assets, and in Ghana they call it a jabade.
Yeah.
They didn't work for it, so they have not developed the culture of making money. They just were born into silver spoon. So these people, they don't know how to create wealth. So these people, they will not become rich again.
Yeah.
So you realize that there's sometimes inherited wealth. Inherited wealth is very difficult to scale up. So when you look at the richest people in the world,
Yeah.
they are usually people who did not inherit wealth.
Yeah.
You understand? Because these people have learned and understood the new ways of making money. People who inherit wealth, they are just somewhere below the richest of the people. They are just maintaining wealth. Usually they would have been taught how to maintain wealth. But wealth creation, the laws of wealth creation, actually they change. 50% of it change every 10 years.
Yeah.
You understand? So maybe 10 years, not 10 years, a generation, so 25 years. A generation ago, to become rich, you needed to be a professional like a doctor. Meaning that, if you study that, do you know how liberation comes, especially from the villages? You study a typical village when they used to be farmers. Have you studied how families become liberated? Education comes. The first set of people who get educated,
Yeah.
they go into academia and health. So they become nurses and teachers and those things. Their children become professionals, engineers, accountants, lawyers, and those things. Then the lawyers and engineers, they become businessmen, entrepreneurs. And the businessmen and entrepreneurs' children, they reset the system. So after the fourth generation, there's likelihood that 90% of them will go back to start up over again. Likelihood. Usually it's likely. if the people are very conscious of it
Yeah.
and they have forged a lot of social security for the family,
Yeah.
it doesn't happen. The likelihood is the way.
Okay.
That is that some of them
Yeah.
will default, some of them would have learned. Because there's always an idiot in every family, and there's always a smart person in every family. You understand? Then some people skip this process. Which people skip this process? The people who learn, not the people who go to school.
Yeah.
Remember I spoke about education.
Yeah.
So the people who have read a lot realize that, okay, it's not being a nurse or a teacher that liberates me. It's about having an income, reliable one. Now they've gotten the income. Say it's not about getting an income.
Yeah.
It's about automating
Income.
the income. That's like professionals. I think I've even jumped on. So like usually you would have been paid salary for turning up and working from morning to evening. That's the first stage of financial liberation.
Yeah.
The next stage is to make more per hour. Because we all go to work at 8 and close at 5. Then the manager gets paid more than me. Why are they paying the manager more? That's the question you should always ask. Because there is a perceived value of the manager that they think he is bringing more to the table than you. Why do they think he's bringing more to the table? Because it can make all of you to do your works. So for me, I have to learn how to make all of other people to do. So the manager is the tool of the organization, automation for the employer. So you pay. You understand?
Yeah.
So who becomes a manager? Someone who has more value, who is more learned, who understands computer, who can manage data, Excel, critical thinking.
Yeah.
You understand? So you begin to get those kind of skills so that you can become a manager. So instead of making $100 a month, now you begin to make $500 a month, you begin to make $1,000 a month. Then there's a peak to that. Then you now begin to automate it. So you become like an Elon Musk. So you develop softwares and stuff that can do this work for you. You understand? Because how many people can you manage a day by yourself? As if you're on HR, you can manage 100. But with a software, you can manage 100. You understand? So you are using tools. And mechanization, how is that called? Industrialization. You understand? So first you move to skill, then you upgrade your skill, high level skill, then you mechanize your skill. Okay, softwares, machines.
Yeah.
So instead of using a hoe all the way, or getting 100 people to use a hoe, you buy a machine that creates the whole place. You understand? So you do that. Then you automate it. Now you don't even need someone to be sitting on the machine. The machine just has specs and the machine is just moving about. That way you can do a lot more. Because wealth is just one, water is 1 cedi. And like fuel, I tell people that a liter of fuel is $1. The exchange rate that makes it ridiculous in all over the world. A liter of fuel is $1. Because the thing has a global price. You understand? So it's how smart you have become to convince a lot of other people to give you their money.
Yeah.
And how capable you are to collect a lot of people's money. That's why the richest people in the world right now are no longer people who sold fuel or sold computers. Because how many computers can you sell in a day? And now they are selling applications. So long as the person has a smartphone, you can sign on. You understand? Facebook, they are making it interesting and attractive to a lot of people. So you have to find how that is moving, where innovation is leading towards, who is making money, which industry is making money, enjoy that industry.
Yeah.
So when the richest person in the world was Rockefeller, the oil industry was where to make money. And the richest person became Mark Zuckerberg. No, not Mark Zuckerberg, someone came before him, Mark Zuckerberg. What's his name? Bill Gates.
Oh yeah, Bill Gates.
So you have to go into IT to make money. Then someone looked into IT and realized that no, social media. So you have to go into social media. That's what created value for social media. It's the value of numbers. The number of people that depend on the software is just so huge that it can be very well. Then my Tesla friend and co, what did they do? Green innovation. Made it fancy. It became like a high ticket. Tesla is a high ticket car. Okay, so expensive. Very few people have it. They can charge more for it. They have to lean towards high ticket technology. Right now, we just have to stay back and watch. Where's the next richest person going to come from? And then we should all jump onto that industry. If you don't want to be that rich, you can look at the top 10 richest people. You understand? And if you don't want to be that rich, you can look at the richest people in your country. So in Nigeria, the richest man there, you see, the richest man in Nigeria is a critical example. Dangote.
Yeah.
Dangote was selling food and sugar. Yeah, he was selling food. Then I realized that there's another thing in business. How much sugar can you sell to be rich? So there's a margin on sugar. So usually when you are starting business, you don't have too much money. You cannot do the very big businesses. So you start with small businesses.
Yeah.
Then Dangote realized that there is more money in things like cement construction because it's a bigger ticket. So he didn't do it. Then he realized that there's more money in oil. So now he went to build the biggest refinery in this thing. You understand? Because these people, they have a lot of money sitting down.
Yeah.
And they cannot monitor the money by using it to do petty trades. So as you make more money, you begin to look for avenues where you put in big money, you make big profit. The level of monitoring is low. You just check your indices. So if you put $1 million, you make $100,000 every month. That means by the end of the year, you have gotten your money back. Is it possible? Is it true? Can you afford to lose $1 million? Should we try it? Try it, it works. It's a that kind of thing. So it's an art of creating wealth. And it's been in books from the richest man in Babylon through rich man, dad, poor dad.
Yeah.
All the way, and different people are just retelling the story. You understand? The way they study it, it's the same thing they are all preaching. What are they preaching? Spend less, make more, get the money to work for you. Okay, get people to pay you. The more and more people you get to pay you, it's not industry sensitive even in the first place. Just that some industries facilitate it more, like the arts industry. But sometimes even it's farm, the agriculture, you can become rich in everything as well.
Yeah.
Any of them that you are able to harness, you can really make it. There's money in every business. One of my mentors will say, some of the just people in Accra, they sold water.
So there's a lot of hotels, places, resorts that I've seen along this way.
Yes.
What's there?
So this one is Point and Kill is like the nice. This one is an eco park. That's what I'm bringing here. And the ones along the road. So what is happening is that because people, I told you about the funerals and events and those things, so along the road so that you can move back and forth.
Ah, I see. So these hotels, they've just maximized on the festivals and the burials.
Yeah, because people in these areas, they come on weekends.
Yeah.
So every weekend, the region is busy. Weekdays, this place is dead. Like.
Now, for accompanying me this far and hearing that story, which was interesting conversation that we were having on our way here, I'm sure you might stay in an interesting resort here in Ho Town. For now, always remember to create time for that which ignites your soul. Until next time, goodbye for now.